Hey, it's Whitney from EcoVeganGal.com and welcome back to the Eco Vegan Gal Uncensored channel, the channel in which I share my thoughts without censorship, without editing videos, without planning them. I just let myself go and expose what I'm thinking and feeling in hopes that it will give you some insight into who I am, but also in hopes that if you are feeling the same way, that you will feel supported and inspired to perhaps take similar action or give similar thought to these things as I am. And in this video, I want to talk a little bit about people's perceptions of us and how fascinating it is. And also, a huge point with that is just how we don't really know what people are going to think, and we don't have much control over what people think of us. I find this on a regular basis through the work that I do as a content creator because I'm constantly exposing myself to the public and getting a lot of feedback. And of course, I talk about this a lot on this channel, a lot of times when I'm feeling sad about it, when I'm getting a lot of criticism. I find it very comforting to express that on this channel because you're such a supportive group here, and I'm so grateful for that. And in this particular case, I feel like I've gotten a lot stronger, and I've really felt like I've been forced to get stronger. And I've noticed that especially over the past few days since putting out a video that got a lot of views relative to my channel. I made a response to the ice bucket challenge and talked about what ALS is and the concerns of animal testing and a lot of other factors that made me very hesitant to do the ice bucket challenge. If you haven't seen that video yet, I'll put the link in the description field here. That has been such a fascinating experience. I posted it on Friday night, and today is Sunday afternoon. And I have received comments all across the board. And I don't necessarily know where a lot of these comments are coming from, if they're coming from strangers who just were searching for ice bucket videos and came across mine. I had a ton of shares online, on Facebook especially, and a little bit on Twitter, and I'm sure that drew in some people that are unfamiliar with me and my work. So while the overwhelming majority of comments were very, very positive and supportive, there were some really strong comments in the opposite direction. And I feel a few things. One is that it was such an amazing exercise for me because I had the opportunity to really not take things personally. And it was such a great thing to practice, and I did such a solid job with it, which is kind of unlike me. I think because I anticipated a lot of pushback, that helped a lot. And so I wasn't trying to necessarily anticipate it in the sense that I was bringing it in by anticipating it, but I felt prepared. And every time I read a comment on that video, I kind of brace myself for something really supportive or something really not supportive. And what I found is that the unsupportive comments have really said a lot more about the people writing them than me. And I think that's really the case with almost any comment and pretty much anything that we say or do. It says so much more about us than the people that we're directing them to. And I very strongly believe in this because I see this in myself too. And this experience with this video and in general teaches me so much about myself, my thoughts, my actions, what I say to people and what I say about people. What has been fascinating with this is that some people have literally taken words completely out of context or written context kind of shaming me for saying something that I literally did not say in the video. There have been people who completely misinterpreted, people who don't even watch the video before they comment. There have been people who've been offended by things that it would never have occurred to me to not do or say because I didn't find them offensive. And so it was just, or it has been and still is, very fascinating because I guess it made me realize that I'm doing the best that I can. And I know in my heart that that video came from my heart and that video came from a place of positivity and a place of wanting to make the world a better place. And that to me is so important, to stay confident in that, to know that if I came with the best intentions, that if people misinterpret it, that's just out of my control. There's nothing more I could have done. And I think that is such a massively important message right there, is to always do the best that you can do and always have the best intentions. And if you proceed through life that way, then if people are upset with you, you just really can't take it that personally, right? I mean, they're probably seeing something that's not the true reality. I think it's very different when we do something and we're not sure if it's the right thing, or we do something and we know it's not the right thing. And if people push back at us, then it's a different story. And I think in more like black and white situations, we might do something that we know is bad and we try to justify it for ourselves. But deep down, there are some black and white situations in our life where we can just, our excuses only go so far. But when you're sharing your opinion on something and it's not black and white, and your opinion is coming from a place of really strong belief and or just wanting to do something good, it's a different thing. Coming to a belief is really interesting because we all have beliefs, and most beliefs are either believed or not believed by other people. So I've also recognized that when you share your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs on something, if somebody is upset with you about it, then that's just showing that they just don't agree with you. Again, it's not personal. This actually happened on this channel recently. Someone came by and started calling me all sorts of names and saying a lot of really cruel things to me. But I was able to step back from it and recognize that they just don't agree with me or they don't see the world in the way that I see it. Most people on YouTube tend to be supportive of me, but I definitely feel like on a semi-regular basis, somebody comes along and finds me really annoying. Somebody said this on the Ice Bucket video. I find you really annoying and I watch your videos anyways, but this one really annoyed me, so I'm unsubscribing. And it definitely does hurt. I mean, it doesn't feel good to hear someone call you annoying, but I really took a step back and thought, I don't find myself annoying. I don't find what I did in that video annoying. I'm doing the best that I can and speaking from a place of love, speaking from my heart, being myself. So if somebody finds me annoying, I just can't take that personally. That's just their opinion. And it made me realize how I find some people annoying. I find plenty of people annoying, and I will oftentimes talk about how annoying I think people are to my friends. I'm very cautious not to say it publicly, but I'll let myself vent to very specific people in my life who I feel safe with. But after this experience, I kind of wanted to stop doing that or try to do a lot less. Because what is the point of complaining about how you find someone annoying, really? It's just creating more agitation and negative energy. And having been on the other end of that so recently, I recognize that I don't really want to put that energy out there. I don't want to complain or try to see if other people find someone annoying. Sometimes I'll find something annoying and I'll want to go to other people to see if they feel that way too, to kind of validate my feelings. And I recognize that that's just so unnecessary. Why do we have to validate our feelings about our opinions on someone? And we do that so much. It's kind of a pattern that we've learned, a behavior that we've learned maybe since childhood. And I just don't think I want to engage in it because it hurts me, so it probably hurts other people. Do I want to participate in putting negative energy out about someone? What if instead I really tried to focus on whether or not I thought it was coming from the heart? I think actually that a lot of times I do get irritated with people who don't seem to be acting from the heart. On YouTube especially, there's plenty of people that do YouTube just to get views, just to get fame. And there are people that are on YouTube that don't seem to be fully expressing themselves, that hold back a lot, or that pretend to be something that they're not. That's usually where I'm irritated, but I guess if I can look through that and see on the other side that they are in a way trying their best, otherwise they wouldn't even be making videos. We never also know whether someone's really trying their best or not. We can observe it and we can judge it, but we just don't know in many cases. So yeah, it's just been so fascinating to not only work on my reactions to other people's reactions, but also work on my reactions to other people, period. And recognize that it just doesn't feel good to be critical, just to be critical. I think constructive criticism is amazing. Had that person that called me annoying outlined in a constructive way why I was coming across annoying to them and how I might be able to fix that, that would be awesome. But that's my problem with most of these comments, is that most people just comment and say really cruel things or really unconstructive things just for the sake of saying them. And there's nothing constructive in it, so what can I do with it? Nothing. I just take the comment and I delete it, or I ban that person if it's really cruel. Or I just kind of say to myself, thank you for sharing. And I let it go. I wish there was something that we could do more actively to learn from that together. And I wish that we were in a place with YouTube and other forms of social media where we could have a constructive conversation. Unfortunately, the way that spaces like YouTube work is it's basically acceptable to leave cruel comments and to bash people and to vent on YouTube publicly. And I really have an issue with that. I wish that it would be either you show your support or you don't show support at all. But I guess as a free country and a free world in many cases, people can say and do whatever they want. I just find it interesting from a psychology standpoint that so many people like to just send out their judgments and send out their perceptions and send out their frustrations and their agitations in a non-constructive way. Because personally, like, I always want to improve, and I think that that's something else that gets triggered within me when I see those comments as I start to get in perfectionist mode. Oh my gosh, this person thinks I'm irritating, annoying. What can I do to fix it? What can I do to get them to like me? And I have to recognize that this isn't a popularity contest, or I don't want it to be. You could certainly perceive YouTube and other mediums like it to be a popularity contest, but that's not why I'm in it. I'm in it to spread a very important message about getting healthy and getting happier and living the best life possible and helping the animals and saving the planet. I'm not in it for myself ultimately. Sure, my ego can get involved, but this really isn't about me. I'm not in it to make people laugh. I'm not in it to have people hear my music. I'm really in it to spread a message and share myself and open up to encourage other people to do the same thing. And so taking things too personally just is preventing me from continuing to go. That was the other thing that came up for me, is it feels sometimes that if somebody calls you annoying, they're basically telling you to stop doing what you're doing. You could perceive it that way, right? Or this one person that was so cruel days ago on this channel, oh my gosh, their comments were just really mean. And I actually did pause and I thought, this makes me want to stop doing videos. And then I let it wash over me, and I thought, I can't let comments like that get in the way of what I'm set out to do. That, again, as I mentioned in past videos, would be allowing my ego to get involved, where my ego, I can't let that prevent me from accomplishing what I want to accomplish for the sake of other people and for animals and the planet, right? And I think this is so important to bring this message full circle. If you're not able to relate to this from a YouTube perspective or from a social media perspective, if you don't have those experiences, I feel like we can translate this into everyday life and recognize that when people say cruel things to us, whether they're our friends or our family or strangers, you know, maybe they're writing us online or saying it to us in person, just always taking that time to step back, even if it's just a few seconds in your mind, to step back and just reflect on, is this true? Is this true for you? Is there something that you can really do, or is this really out of your control and just someone sharing their perspective? If it is them just sharing, you can either literally say or just internally say, thank you for sharing to them. and just thank them for expressing themselves, because you got to give some people hands for expressing themselves. Most people don't express themselves very much, right? So any expression should be, in a way, rewarded. I think then it's an opportunity to really think about how you want to respond and how your response can be constructive. Maybe they're not being constructive by saying something negative or mean or whatever it is, how it feels at that moment. That doesn't mean that you have to respond in the same way. You know, you give out love. You respond with kindness all the time, even when it's really, really hard. Responding with kindness to me is like the most proactive thing that we can do. That's how we keep moving forward. But if we continue fighting all the time, that's how wars, literal wars, figurative wars, small wars, big wars, that's how things get started. It's when the egos get involved and when people just want to fight. But what if somebody tries to fight with us and we just put up that wall of kindness or blast them with kindness? And you know, that might not change that one person, but it certainly doesn't, that we take responsibility for ourselves and we don't get involved with it there. The last thing I'll say here is something that's really sat with me recently, and I keep remembering. It was a picture, an image that was going around on Facebook of some peaches, and on it the text said, "You could be the juiciest peach in the world, and there will still be people who don't like peaches." And I love that quote, right? Because it's so true. Peaches, I really like peaches. I don't love peaches. But if I think about certain foods that I don't like at all, it doesn't matter how delicious they are, how ripe they are, how they're the best crop ever, how they were grown with love or prepared with love or whatever it is, I'm just not going to like that. And that's kind of how I think it's helpful to view things, especially on social media, but also in our personal life. If we're so stuck on trying to get everyone to like us and to please everyone, it's so exhausting and really a waste of our energy that could be spent focusing on the people that really love us and want us, and just letting those other people fall off. Say thank you for sharing. Thank you for opening up to me, but you know, I'm just not for you. Thanks for letting me know that. I'm going to focus my energy on the people that I am for the people that love me and appreciate me and see what I'm trying to say, to get what I'm trying to say. Not the people that just don't see me for whatever reason. It's like, it's almost as if some people are just blind to us, like they're colorblind, right? They just can't see our color. So what? We're not for them. And this comes up over and over again in my life, and it's such an amazing lesson, and I feel so good. The stronger I get, the more I can realize that. And there are definitely days where it's really hard, but today is one of those days where I'm seeing it in a very positive light, and I'm just telling everyone in my head, thank you for sharing. Thank you all for listening. I would love to hear from you today to tell me if you have any more tips on dealing with it, any more insights you want to share, or if you've had a recent experience that you'd like to share and how you handled it. Could you have handled it better? Could you have handled it worse? What did you do? Were you proud of what you did, or in hindsight, is there another way that you could have approached it? And I also just want to send out so much love to all of you who know what I'm experiencing here. If you have a goal of getting bigger on YouTube, if that's where you are, or getting more followers on social media, just know that this stuff starts to happen over time. But it can even happen when we're really small, right? It can happen in small instances, big instances. It can happen all over the time. But I just want to remind you now and for the future that you can get through those negative experiences and those harsh experiences and that pain that we all usually feel when we're attacked in that way. I just want you to know that I'm here for you, and I've been there, and I have worked through it in so many ways, and you can too, and you can get through it on the other side and approach it from a very positive, loving place that creates more positivity and love in the world, not more hate and negativity. All right, thank you so much for watching. I would love to have you chime in on the ice bucket video that I did. And if you want to chime in on social media at all, the links are down below, as well as the link to Eco Vegan Gal if you're looking for more ways to feel happier and healthier in your life. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next uncensored video. Bye.